España.
España. Hi, I'm Hannah.
And I'm Shay, and we're Dinner National.
Today we're making Spanish food.
Many people hear the word Spain and think of the running of the bulls in Pamplona, the Sagrada Familia in Barcelona, or the famous Museo Prado in Madrid. But some people, like Shay and myself, think of immaculate seafood, pungent olive oil, and fresh herbs and citrus, the cornerstones of Spanish cooking. Today, we prepared some tapas. We began with a light and refreshing cold gazpacho soup, packed with fresh garden flavors, as well as patatas bravas, a straightforward fried potato served with a spicy tomato sauce that will make any potato a brave potato. We also made Gambas al Ajillo, or garlic shrimp, which is exactly what it sounds like and is so delicious. And finally, we prepared a beautiful seafood paella, delicately spiced with saffron and loaded with mussels, lobster, and shrimp.
Let's get started.
Okay, we are going to be making gazpacho. Gazpacho originated in Andalusia, but it's popular all over Spain, and it has different regional variations. It's mostly eaten in the summer when the tomatoes are ripe. People use the freshest tomatoes. Spain is famous for that. Because we're living in Canada, we're gonna use canned tomatoes because it's just not the time. It's not the time for fresh tomatoes. So we're using San Marzano tomatoes. This is a soup that we're not even cooking. I mean, every ingredient is going in raw, or raw as Gordon Ramsay would say. It's raw. Okay. This is 1 red pepper. This is half of a yellow onion. So jalapeno is optional. We just like our things spicy, so we're adding 1 jalapeno that we've taken the seeds out of. This is 2 Persian cucumbers. This is the juice of half of a lemon. We have 1 large garlic clove that I've minced up. 2 tablespoons of red wine vinegar. Use sherry vinegar if you have it, it's more traditional. And salt and pepper, about ½ teaspoon of each. You might need more salt later, so make sure to sample it. I'm gonna use this immersion blender. You just gotta close your eyes so nothing gets in there. All right, so we've kept this tomato juice on the side just in case you wanted to thin it out a little bit, which we do. So I'm gonna add 3/4 cups of tomato juice and some fresh chopped cilantro. This is about 1/4 of a bunch. You can imagine this is like the best thing to eat on a summer day. And everyone eats it all throughout the day. It's very popular at lunchtime though. And last but not least, I'm going to drizzle in some olive oil, extra virgin. Make sure to taste for seasoning. That's the most important part. Dang, that's really good. That's just the right amount of salt, just the right amount of garlic, and it's kind of raw, you know? It tastes great. I love it.
Gazpacho. Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Don't try this at home.
Also, don't lick an immersion blender.
That's what I meant.
Patatas Bravas is one of the most famous tapas Spain has to offer. Really simple. We have to start with the sauce. It's kind of a spicy tomatoey sauce. Usually they use Tabasco, but we're gonna use some homemade habanero hot sauce that my husband made himself. It's a little spicier and I personally enjoy it a little more. I have about a tablespoon of olive oil heating over medium heat, and I'm going to add this tomato sauce and we're just gonna cook it for 5 minutes. Kind of cook the raw out of it, you know? This is just a can of tomato sauce. If you were to make your own tomato sauce somehow, that would be fine. That would be amazing, but we just use canned. So yeah, 5 minutes. So this sauce is supposed to be spicy. Patatas bravas means brave potatoes, so you're supposed to be brave when you eat them. So honestly, we're kind of tempted to use all these other spicy pastes that we have for Middle Eastern food and stuff, but we're gonna try to keep it simple and traditional. But it's really tempting to use gochujang. But the tomato sauce has been cooking for 5 minutes. I'm going to add the other ingredients. We have about a teaspoon of Dijon mustard. Any kind of mustard will do. This is just to add some of some tang. Is that the right word, tang? You're like, no.
Mustardiness.
Mustardiness. I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of paprika, They said to use Spanish paprika, and I'm gonna tell you, we cannot find that. We could not find that anywhere. If we can't find Hungarian paprika, we can't find Spanish paprika.
Oh, Canada.
Canada. This is 1 teaspoon of red wine vinegar. Again, use sherry vinegar if you have it. And my favorite part, we're gonna add the habanero. Since Spain doesn't eat a lot of spicy food, I'm not gonna do what I wanna do, which is just glug, 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 glug. But I'll just, you know, drizzle a little bit. Yeah, that should be good. I'm gonna put more in when he's not looking. All right, so that's it, guys. Taste this for seasoning, add some salt. You want it to be a little salty because potatoes are potatoes. They need salt. Let this cook for 10-15 minutes at least. You can cook it longer if you want, and I'll show you how to fry these potatoes. That's what they used to do in the 80s. Paula Abdul. Oh, I didn't see you there. It's time to fry the potatoes. This is 2 peeled potatoes that I've cut into about 1-inch pieces. I'm gonna test the oil to make sure it's hot by dropping a little one in there. Yeah, it's frying. I'm gonna drop in, you know, quite a few more. I'm using a spider so I don't splash oil on myself. This is one of the easiest recipes. You just fry this until it's brown. That's it, until it's brown around the edges, crispy on the outside, soft in the middle. I've pulled the first batch out. Let's take a little sample. Wow, really nice and crispy on the outside, fluffy on the inside, perfect. But they need salt. Don't salt too much because we have this really awesome sauce that's gonna be going on them. But yeah, definitely salt them, and I'm gonna put the next batch in, and that's it. Patatas Bravas, brave potatoes.
Let's talk about paella. There are many different varieties of this delicious dish. A lot of them call for chicken, some of them call for chorizo, some of them call for seafood. And we at Dinner National try to keep a really healthy mix of what kind of proteins we use. So this time we're sticking with the seafood. And why wouldn't we? It gives us an excuse to use lobster for the first time. So what we have over here are 4 previously frozen lobster tails. So I have 3 cups of water boiling over here. Once it comes up to a boil, I will boil these lobster tails. In the meantime, let's prepare one thing that makes paella paella: saffron. So if you have been watching us for a long time, you've probably seen this item being used in some of our Middle Eastern recipes. Our Iran recipe used it, and our Lebanon recipe used it too. So what I have over here is some premium Spanish saffron. This might seem like one of those ingredients that you don't really require, but honestly, in this entire dish, other than the rice, if there's only one mandatory ingredient, that's saffron. What's paella without saffron? Fish rice? So I just have like a couple of tablespoons of water over here. I'm just gonna add like 1 generous pinch of saffron in there, maybe another. It's like 2 pinches of saffron. So I'm just gonna let this sit until all the water turns like a nice golden color. And this golden color is what colors our rice. Looks like our water is at a rolling boil. So that means I'm ready for the lobsters. And the best thing about lobster is that it comes with a natural timer. So as soon as the shells change color, as of now, these are like a blackish color. But as soon as they're done, they'll be like a nice orangish pink. That's when you know it's done. So I'm just gonna let these boil for about 2 minutes. Watch it closely as the color changes, and then you'll be ready to pull it out. Okay, so I've pulled the lobster tail out. What we have over here is some really nice seafood stock, which is going to flavor our rice. So we're not going to discard this. If you feel like it, just give it like a quick filter. Sieve out like any little lobster legs that are in there. But yeah, do not discard this liquid. If you have some seafood stock and you want to work with that, that's okay too. But you know me, I try my best not to waste anything. And this is like a perfect use of this lobster water. So paella is traditionally made on an open fire. So yeah, we're not gonna do that. It's the middle of winter and I really don't feel like firing up my grill. So we're just gonna do this on the stovetop. Paella is like a fairly flexible dish. Let's talk about the pan. This is like a flat, shallow pan. And the bigger, the wider, the shallower, the better. Because the idea is that we want most of the water to get evaporated and form that nice crusty bottom that is so prized. I forget what it's called in Spanish, but if you remember my Tadik video from the Iran episode, it's kind of a similar concept. Or if you want a super throwback comparison, remember my Bao Zai Fan video that we did for China? I guess all of these old cultures have this affinity towards like the burned bottom of a rice dish. Hey, I'm not complaining, I really enjoy it. So my flat pan is getting hot. I have about 3 tablespoons of oil over here. I'm just gonna heat up the oil and saute up some onions. This is 1 large yellow onion. I guess Spanish onion would have been more traditional, but you know, it's hard to find. I just choose the yellow onion. So like I told you before, I mean, there's many different kinds of paella recipes. I've seen some really interesting ones that have like chicken, chorizo, seafood, everything mixed in it. But the most traditional paella recipe comes from like Valencia, which typically used like snails and rabbit and chicken. And I eat most things, but I don't really eat rabbit, personal reason. Seafood paella sounds amazing though. Generous pinch of salt. Okay, so my onions have been sauteing for about 2 minutes, and this is a good time to add some diced red pepper. So this is just about half. I'll show you what I did with the other half in a sec. Such a delicious aroma. Red pepper, onion, just salt, man. I mean, there's something magical about this. So I'm gonna let this saute for like about 5 minutes and become softer. I don't have the right kind of rice today either. So apparently the right kind of rice to use for a paella is called a Bamba, B-O-M-B-A. That's where I'm from. Bombay. That's where I'm from. Okay, I digress. Bamba rice. I didn't have any Bamba rice, so I'm just gonna use some arborio rice, which is usually used for like a risotto. I know that that's not really typical, but then good luck finding Bamba. The important thing is not to use some long grain rice, but then, you know, like a medium grain or a short rice grain is ideal. All right, time to add the next few ingredients. What I have over here is 3 cloves of garlic. I'll just give the garlic a quick toast, like about 30 seconds. Garlic is ready. So this is like 1.5 cups of arborio rice. I soaked it in water for like about 20 minutes. So now I'm going to toast the rice a little bit. Just for 2 to 3 minutes. Just need to get it like a little bit dry, you know. We're not trying to cook the rice completely. This is just like a little toast before we add some of that seafood broth. This is a good time to add some of your dry spices. What I have over here is 1 teaspoon of cayenne and 1 teaspoon of paprika. This is just standard paprika. I'm just gonna mix everything real nice right now, because once you add the liquid into the paella pan, you're not supposed to keep stirring it. That impedes the development of the nice crust at the bottom, but we don't want the paprika to burn. So as soon as this thing is kind of like nicely mixed, I'm gonna add 2 Roma tomatoes that I diced up. Give this a nice stir as well. Nice pinch of salt, maybe like about a teaspoon. Okay, now I'm gonna add my seafood broth. This is 3 cups, but I'm just gonna do like 2 cups. So make sure that this is properly stirred because we don't want any clumping. And once all of the ingredients are nicely dispersed, now you're not supposed to touch it anymore. Do not stir. This is critical. This is going to be really hard for me because, you know, I mean, I'm a chronic stirrer. I hope you did not forget our star ingredient. That's the saffron water. Look at that beautiful color. So I'm just going to pour this saffron water in here and allow it to color our delicious paella. So the water is coming up to a boil. Now I'm going to put a lid on. The idea is to make sure that you're creating like a pressure cooker type environment on the inside, right? I'm gonna turn the heat down to low and let the rice cook for the next 20 minutes. Do not stir this. It's supposed to burn a little bit. See you in 20. Right, it's been 20 minutes, you guys. Super fragrant. I love the way that smells. And it looks really pretty too. Yum. I don't think it requires too much water, but then we had like a little bit more, like 1 cup of water. I'm just gonna do like a half cup maybe, just in order to wet this a little bit. Don't wanna add too much water. And then what I have over here is 1 pound of mussels. So I'm just gonna nestle these mussels in there. It looks like a pretty nice sun pattern. And this is like 1 pound of shrimp that I have peeled and deveined. So I'm just gonna kind of like nestle these kind of nicely. These don't need a lot of time to cook, so it'll cook for 10 minutes. Remember the other half of the peppers I told you about? So I just cut neat little strips from that. This is like completely optional, but then, you know, just add like a little bit of color on there, guys. Looks nice, make it look cool. I'm not gonna be that methodical about where I'm placing these. Okay, you guys, the mussels and the shrimp don't need that long to cook. All I'm gonna do is put the lid back on and let it cook for 10 more minutes, after which we can garnish with our lobster and our parsley. Okay, so it's been 10 minutes. Wow. Our shrimp are definitely done. Smells yummy. My glasses are all foggy. What I have over here is a nice handful of chopped parsley. And I'm going to keep these beautiful lobster shells right on top. I've not eaten lobster since the pandemic started, you guys. Yum! Hannah, look at this. So lately, we've been trying to bring you some very simple dishes which are very flavorful. This is one such dish. This is a favorite in Spain, and this is honestly one of my favorites as well. Gambas al Ajillo. So what I have here is 1 pound of gambas, which means shrimp. My pan is heating on medium-high heat. I have olive oil, which is like about a 1/4 cup. My oil's getting hot. These are 10 cloves of garlic that I minced up. If you feel like using a little bit less, go for it, but we love garlic over here. Give this a quick stir. And this is 1 teaspoon of chili flakes. I'm gonna add that in there. Give this a little stir. Try not to get these burned. As you can see, I'm moving very quickly. You don't need a lot of time for this. This is paprika, 1 teaspoon, some black pepper. Give everything a nice stir. Paprika burns really quickly, so move quickly. Look at that beautiful color, you guys. Add a nice pinch of salt. Okay, believe it or not, guys, our dish is almost ready. I'm going to add some brandy. This is like a 1/4 cup of brandy. Woo!
Light it on fire! Light it on fire!
Not today, you guys. Final ingredient goes in, juice of half a lemon. So I'm just gonna take these off of the heat, garnish with some parsley, sop up the tasty juices with some baguettes, and enjoy my shrimp. Gambas al Ajillo. Alright, you guys, it's time to eat some Spanish food. Gazpacho, we already tasted a little bit of this. It was honestly way better than it sounds, guys. So refreshing.
Oh yeah.
Right?
It tastes like a fresher version of salsa. That cucumber adds something different, you know? It has that salsa essence because of all the tomatoes and the cilantro. But then you have this cucumber, it's like, wow.
I mean, it's just like a really beautiful dish.
Yeah.
I'm gonna scoop some of the tomato sauce on our potato.
Yes, do it. Patatas Bravas.
Patatas Bravas.
Yeah, and honestly, the sauce is not as spicy as it would seem because of the habanero. It's very good.
Really nice and soft on the inside. Delicious potato. What's not to like, right? This is probably the simplest ever potato dish you can make.
Yeah.
You just deep fry the potatoes, serve it with some tomato sauce.
But it's more than just tomato sauce. It's like ketchup with a kick. It's got mustard. It's a little better than that.
Oh yeah. Now on to our second tapas dish. The Gambas al Ajillo.
Yeah.
This broth is like something else.
Yeah.
Is
it good?
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's better than good.
Okay, I'm gonna need some of that immediately. Wow.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, this is delicious.
Yeah, so this is like garlic and
Lemon.
Yeah, lemon, olive oil. It's delicious.
You know, this would be good drizzled over some pasta too. I'm serious, this is like, wow. Kick anything up. Like, here's your dish, add any of this, and it's like,
Yeah.
that's really good.
Awesome baguette. Right?
Garlic sponge.
It just works. It just works.
I'm ready to try,
The star of the show?
yeah, the star
paella?
of the damn show. Oh. Show.
Okay, let's break into some paella.
Yeah, we have to see if the bottom's crusty.
I'm gonna have to give it a shot.
Yeah.
Yep. Bottom is crusty.
Nice.
I was going to feed her the first bite, but I'm not going to.
No, he gets it. It's fine. Really? Okay.
Yes.
Now I'm going in, and I want some of the
Oh,
crusty
my.
bottom.
The peppers. Oh, it's actually a little bit spicy. Maybe it's a cayenne. Huh? It's so good.
I love it. The burnt rice. That's key
Yeah.
to a paella. It gives it a really nice flavor.
I'm going to show you guys the burnt crust. Can you see the burnt crust?
This is really good. You need to try a mussel.
Mussels. It's got a nice kick to it. Maybe it was the cayenne I added.
Yeah, it was definitely cayenne.
I mean, the red peppers, the rice. I can even taste a slight hint of the saffron.
Yeah.
And I love lobster. I mean, you put lobster in anything, it's just like so tasty.
Yeah.
Lobster.
Lobster, I hardly know her.
You like my mustache? Alright, you guys. So I'm gonna finish eating this delicious lobster and this totally delicious spread.
Let's eat it all.
Yep, we're gonna eat all of this tonight. Maybe I'm gonna eat all of this tonight. And we'll see you all next week.
Okay, bye.